Today, Cesar Wee enjoys a successful real estate business and heads the young and dynamic Wee Community Developers Inc. But in his earlier years, he admits to being the black sheep in the family and seemed poised for a completely different future.
I'm the fourth of 6 kids, and I was the middle child, and I really had the middle child syndrome. I was rebellious, I was hard-headed, I didn't want to study, I just played basketball. Growing up, I just remember every Sunday, my dad would force us to play basketball with him. So that was yung sacred family time. I love basketball because it's my bonding experience with my kids. When people ask me what I learned most from my dad, it's really that you have to spend time with your family, and he did that through sports. When people build houses, they usually build a basement to put their sports cars. I don't like sports cars. I like playing sports, basketball in particular. So in my basement, there's a basketball court. During weekends or after school, they would ask me to help out in our factory. I would do some weird experiments in our laboratory, just manual labor. That was my first taste of my entrepreneur life, as being the assistant of my parents. So after graduating in college, when I worked for my dad, bigla na lang it's a different scenario. I'm not an entrepreneur anymore. I was a vice president agad. So that's something that was ironic for me. I guess it's strange that they wanted me to manage their business but not put up new businesses. I guess that's why I moved out of the family business, because I really wanted to become a businessman, an entrepreneur. My dad put up a real estate business. Our family being not in real estate, it was very hard for us. So for our first project, it was a big flop. It was a big disaster. I wasn't able to sell units because it was right smack in the late 1990s, which was the Asian economic crisis. I wanted to know this business. I didn't want my career in real estate to end on a bad note. So what I did was I went out. Luckily, I found a mentor. His name is Jerry Chowa. He's from Pro Friends. It's a big housing company. I resigned from the family business, worked for Mr. Chowa for 5 years. He gave me a hard time. He broke my character. So when I got into his company, number one, I wasn't a boss. I was basically the assistant of everyone. So that's how I learned. I climbed the ropes. So from being everyone's assistant, I became the project director. So that's like the head of a project. Around 2008, he fired me. He said, I taught you everything you needed to know about real estate. I believe you can put up your own company. It's something you really have to do. You have to go out, spread your wings. So it was a very big milestone for me. So that's how WeCom started. I formed the company. I partnered with a friend of mine. His name is Yap. So he was also working for the family, but he wasn't happy. We joined forces. Luckily, he was a sales and marketing guy, and I was more an operations, finance, and construction person. Our tandem did very well. And I said, okay pala to bounce ideas with someone. Again, luckily, Carson Choa, my COO right now, he approached me and then he said, you know what, I want to do something different. I want to do something out of the family. After Carson joined WeCom, our sales flew, we did more projects, everything was more organized.
We call ourselves the black sheep or the rejects. He believes in giving people chances. We are people who came from various backgrounds, who wanted to make a difference, who wanted to create something from ourselves and out of ourselves. And Cesar is the main person who gives people the break, and I owe a lot to him. In 2015, the gross revenue or the gross reserve sale of the company was around 600 million only. So we were so bullish that time, sabi namin. We'd hit 10 billion by 2020. That's where we started expanding in the provinces. I guess through God's grace as well as everyone's effort, in 2019, a year ahead of our target, we've already breached 10 billion. We're already at 13 billion.
We and the community meaning, I guess our responsibility for the community is still there as we build more and more projects. And developers, we can't drop developers because one of my partners, his name is Yap, so he passed away a few years ago. His name is still there because he's one of the founding directors of the company. Wcom is about sharing what we know, improving on our developments, improving on what we have. Wcom grew because we actually share technology with people who can probably be and most likely will be our future competitors. So I guess that's what's different with Wcom. The way I manage is very different from the old school type of management. Number one, I rarely go to the office because I want people to be accountable. What I do is I set parameters, I set budgets, we agree on a business plan, a business model, and then I let my partners and the people that we mentor do everything else. So that's how my mentor taught me before, and now this is how I'm doing my business. It's a simple formula, but it works.
He's very light and funny, so meaning you can see it in our office. It cascades down to everyone. So we're not very corporate in nature. So we joke around with everyone. So we don't really mind if people don't call us sir or boss. So we call each other primarily through our first names because we want to foster a certain compassion and a certain relationship between each worker, wherein we really see each other as friends.
We like to teach, we like to mentor new people, we want to expand the industry. We're technically opening our doors to mentor more people outside of our circle of friends. So that's actually the main reason we joined in this show.